Welcome to the Fennell Shooting Podcast. Fueled by Fiocchi, the industry standard that champions trust. If you're a clay target shooter, then we have something for you. Speaking with some of the best in the industry about the game you're passionate about. Follow us at the Clay Lab on YouTube and Spotify. The Fennell Podcast is also brought to you by the Clay Lab, Ranger, Krieghoff International, Briley Manufacturing, Long Range, Rainier Shotgun Sports, Mech Outdoors, Greenwood Custom Stocks, Electronic Shooters Protection, and Westside Sporting Grounds. Here's your host, Will Fennell of the Fennell Shooting School.
Everybody, this is Will Fennell with the Will Fennell Podcast, Fennell Shooting School. Got Mr. George Digweed on with us today. Got some big announcements to make about a super cool international shoot. I went to the first one that George put on over in Fujairah in the United Arab Emirates. It was an amazing event. Some of the most stupendous terrain I think I've ever shot in my life, George. And here we are doing it again. Tell us about the shoot.
Thanks for having me on for a start. I was very, very privileged to be asked to co-host the first one alongside Phil Gray with our leader, who's the main guy in it, is Thomas Wagner. I was very, very happy to be asked to help out with that event. And I felt, in general, for a first event on Virgin territory, with the money that was spent there, we did a good job. It wouldn't be in any way, shape or form the finished article, and I would hold my hands up to that. I've never been shy of criticism. Most of that I would bring on myself, and I knew where we'd made mistakes. It's very easy to sit here and blame the weather. The first 2 days we had 50-mile-an-hour winds, and it was still forecasting an 8-mile-an-hour off the mountain wind. So you had no idea that was coming. During our setting, we set the targets. Everything was perfect leading up to the event, only to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and check the targets to be met with that. Well, there's nothing you can do on a 200-bird course. I don't need to tell you that. Look, that aside, I think it was a good event with slight mistakes. And those mistakes we've, as a team, held our hands up to and have put right everything we can think of. For a start, the food court, a lot of people didn't get time to utilise that, and there was some great local culture, local foods, and local delicacies there that people didn't get the opportunity of trying. We're holding it as a 4-day shoot this time as opposed to 3, which will cut down your time out in the field. We're holding it as a super sporting event, which will take less time to shoot, but will still be enjoyable to shoot. So you'll be shooting a total of 24 stands of 10 targets on each stand. It's being run in conjunction with the CPSA and the NSCA with their blessing, which is great news for us. Allows us the opportunity of still showing our flair and yet conforming to their regs. There will be snack food type vending food at the start of each of the sets of stands that you're going to shoot. Everybody will be shooting 6 stands in a day. So as I say, there's 24 stands in total. You'll shoot 6 stands a day. 4 of the layouts will be in the lake area that you'll remember from last time.
It was amazing.
And the other 4 will be in the mountain region that we call the Wada, which was a short vehicle ride from the main event, probably 15 minutes in a vehicle. And we've managed to secure some layouts even higher than the ones that were in operation last time. So you will go to the top of the layout and you'll walk down, which is easy for everybody. And then you'll be picked up at the next lane. So
the mountain area was just stupendous. I mean, when I first talked about going to this shoot last time, everybody was like, "Oh, it's going to be like Dubai. It's going to be blowing sand. It's going to be sand dunes." Oh, not this at all. This is mountainous terrain.
Absolutely.
I mean, looked like Afghanistan or something. I mean, it was just huge rock faces with machines way up the mountain. I mean, I remember the story that y'all had to take the machines and the targets in by helicopter or something, right?
Yeah, certain stands had that. The other thing was that with the background that it is in certain places, we had to show targets and throw targets showing dome, because where you're into the mountain face and the underside of the targets, which was another slight fault from our point of view, didn't show particularly well in the sky or the mountain face. You couldn't see them. So we had to show dome so that the targets were visible on the bank. This time, the eco targets, because it is a national park, will be completely black underneath, no visibility issues at all. We've already set the targets, we've set the stands. I'm excited. It looks a really good thing to attend. And the second year, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have ironed out our slight issues from last time. There are going to be 3 pool shoots this time, all of which will be shooting 2 or 3 people. So there'll be plenty of opportunity to shoot pool shoots before you start to go and warm up. And running in conjunction with that for the first 3 days of the competition. So it starts on the 1st of February. From, I think, the 1st to the 4th, there will be a 50 bird prelim event, English sporting, which people can shoot once and once only. And then after that, from the 5th to the 8th, or I think from the 5th to the 7th, I think we shut it the day before the competition officially closes, it'll be a re-entry event, shooting 1 card at a time. But you can shoot it as many times as you want.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to get all of the pool shoots and the side events sorted on the on Saturday night. It's the 8th anyway, whatever happens. So it's the 7th will be the cut-off for the pool shoots and the side events, so that everything is clear. So the only shoot-offs that need to be done on the night the main competition finishes are anything to do with the category classes in the event. Everything else will be done on countback, starting with stand 24 and counting back. First, second and third in each category. So that's ladies, juniors, open and veterans will be done on shoot-off basis. And then after that, it's countback from position 3. So we just want to make sure that we finish in plenty of time. We're hoping that His Royal Highness will come and present the prizes again like he did last time, which I thought was absolutely, fantastic.
Yeah.
And then that way, everybody can get done. They can enjoy the delights of the food court and the tented village. And, going forward, it just makes life a lot easier. We were trying to get shoot-offs and everything done right up till the last minute, and it all became very rushed. Yeah. Whereas this time, we're there to enjoy a new culture, a different culture, one that is looking forward to us going and is spending a vast amount of money in hosting us. So why shouldn't we, shooters and hosts, take that bit of time to enjoy their hospitality?
Absolutely. So speaking of prize money and purse, it was very, very generous last time. Tell us about it. What's in store for us on this one?
Well, I've got prize money somewhere, but I haven't got it with me. I'm pretty sure, but don't quote me on it, I'm pretty sure high overall is $30,000. And then we're paying down quite a lot through to about, as I say, we've rewritten it this year because we're not doing the flush scenario, which we couldn't do due to the high winds, and the flush scenario cost quite a lot of money hiring the cranes, etc., etc. And the prizes that were due to be put on that event, we've scrapped that event and we've put that prize money into the main event. So each category will be supported very well, paying down to, I believe we're paying down to 20.
In each category, or
So
is that just
the
overall?
and I think maybe 10th in the
Okay.
category. Not only are we giving away a large amount of prize money, we're also giving away flash clay prizes throughout the layout.
Oh, I remember
of
that. Yeah.
$500 a flash clay.
So while you're shooting, folks, if one of the targets you break happens to be a flash, you get $500 on the spot.
Yeah,
it's pretty
absolutely.
cool.
And you've paid your entry fee back.
Yeah.
So all of the flights, I'm pretty sure the flights carry a reduction if booked through the agent that is hosting the shoot. Certainly the hotel rooms
That was fantastic.
Reduction. You're utilising a 5-6 star line of hotels on the beach on the Indian Ocean, vastly reduced rates.
Last time stayed at the same hotel you were at, and I think my room was like $250 for a 5-star hotel. It was great.
Yeah. So all of that is their spin on hosting an event that they want people to come to and see the beauty of Fujairah. And having spent a bit of time over there now, we've already done this year's course. So I spent a week over there earlier in the year and have been right round it. And it's an amazingly beautiful place. And hopefully by hosting it over 4 days, it gives people the opportunity of perhaps shooting in the morning or an afternoon, having a go at a pool shoot or two, and still having time to go and visit some of the more spectacular parts of the country.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to be on the other side of the planet and see and experience new things. Indian Ocean was beautiful. When we shot in Dubai back years before, that side of the coast was not exactly the most pretty water on the planet. But yeah, the Indian Ocean was gorgeous. I know some folks who went fishing last time while they were there and had a good time.
One thing I will say is that what brought it home to me about how wonderful it is and everything else is the fact of, I remember Jamie Brightman turning around to me when we got back, and he said that he was on one of the early squads in the water. So he got up really early, it was dark, got to the ground, just nearly dark, sorted his gun out and everything, got transport up there, they got to the water, and as they got to the water, the sun was rising. And he said, there we were up the top of a mountain, about to do a clay shoot. And he said there the sun was rising in the mountains in front of us. And he said the different light conditions and the scenery and how the sun started to open up the mountain and the mountain became alive. He said it was far more than just going over there shooting. It was a whole experience in itself. And look, you'll be up there twice this time. So hopefully people will have the opportunity of going up there, perhaps morning or afternoon. We're going to do a morning and an afternoon rotation. They'll get up there at least once in the morning and hopefully get to experience that sort of thing and what he had to experience. So,
Yeah, the lighting conditions were, some of my friends that were there, they were photography fans. Just they were amazed at the lighting conditions, some of the pictures they were able to take. Just because of the way the land lays there.
Well, also it does cause a bit of a problem for us setting targets.
Sure.
Because obviously, look, I've been around enough and done enough that the last thing I would want as a competitor is sun in my face at a certain time of day or, invisible targets. One of the things we have done is, which I will say, and I'm not going to give too much away, but we have moved to the other side of the lake so that the sun is always behind. At certain points of the day in the lake, with the sun shining and the glimmer coming off the water, it did make 1 or 2 targets difficult to see.
Absolutely.
And although we checked the targets at certain times during the day, it was perhaps a fact that was slightly overlooked. Not only that, when the wind got up and there was a chop on there, the ripple on the water was different to it being flat calm and everything else. So we moved to the other side of the lake without giving too much away. So the sun would always be on the back of the targets and the visibility issue over the water shouldn't this year be a problem at all. But also by facing north from where the sun is, we then face the highest part of the mountain.
Oh, wow.
It's actually difficult. It's actually difficult putting targets too far up in the air in certain places because you can't see the target with the background of the mountain. So it's not, whilst I'm not turning around and saying it's impossible. It's not, because we've set the targets. However, where you'd look up there and say, "Oh, imagine a nice target across there." Well, you've either got to look at the sun or you're looking into the mountain. You can't see the target. So we've had to make the best of the terrain we've got, which, as you know, is very rugged, which is great to shoot over, but it does also prevent challenges.
There's no free lunch, yeah.
We've changed the targets themselves. Obviously, it's an eco area, it's it's a national park, basically.
Right.
So they have to use eco-friendly clays, which we've got, and we've got, complete black undersides.
What brand are they?
They're probably going to be CCI, which are they're making brilliant ecos, and they've got the fact that they can go black underneath now as well.
Yeah, excellent. One of the things that folks that didn't go last time I would like to know about is ammunition, like shoots that have been done in austere parts of the world before. The ammo, I'm assuming, will be provided again this time.
The ammo will be provided at this moment, dependent on licensing issues. We are going to be using 28 and 30 gram shells, so that people have a choice as to whether they want a 28 gram shell or a 30 gram shell. Obviously, there was, the women that are shooting, we don't want them beaten up. So there's an opportunity for guys there to shoot 30 grams if they want, and yet we'll retain the softness of a 28 gram shell for the women and people that don't want any big recoil issues.
So both loads would be available on each station?
On each station, yeah. 100%. So it's another thing that's been thought of, and obviously the shoot is 12 bores only. We're only catering for 12 bore ammunition. If you start going through the gauges, it becomes an absolute
logistical. Yeah.
No cartridges are to leave the stand, and provided that rule is adhered to, my understanding is that this year they've got a dispensation from the local government and the local police to allow competitors, once they've taken their gun out of storage overnight, to be able to take that gun then into the tented village, which they couldn't do last time, so that they haven't got to check it back in to check it back out if they just want to go and have a sandwich. So
excellent.
I think, as I say, we couldn't have gone through and cherry-picked every issue that was good or bad without trying to keep in the good stuff and make the bad stuff good. So you live and learn, and I think that whilst the first attempt was good and, I was proud of what we achieved, I think this will be in a different level.
So for folks, especially folks here in the States, they've never been to something like this, which they had excellent help when we went last year. There's folks that helped you do your gun permits, line up transportation to pick you up at the airport. There's a whole list of hotels that are pre-organized for this shoot. Transportation will pick you up at the airport, take you to your hotel. Everyday transport would pick you up, take you out to the range, bring you back to your hotel at night on the last day. From the hotel to the back to the airport in Dubai. It's very, very organized. When you land, your gun goes directly to the gun club. It's held in secure storage there, and every day when you get to the gun club, you get your gun. Get done shooting at the end of the day, you give them the gun back. That way you're not encumbered taking the gun around, which also brings legal issues in a country like this. So they've thought of everything, and it's really a pretty easy trip. Really had a good time last time. What was it, George? I think last time it was it 300,000 in purse money total, or 400,000?
Yeah, it was certainly be in that area. That there is more cash money going into the prizes this time as opposed to sponsored prizes of, wing shooting and game shooting, which a lot of people went on last time and had great time. But this time we're putting it more in a cash prize fund.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'll get you the prize fund, and you can publish that when this goes out. Just one issue that was, possibly a slight issue as well last time was I don't think bearing in mind that Fujairah is a standalone emirate. There are 7 different emirates in the United Arab Emirates. Dubai being the one you fly into, the main hub. Fujairah is the one where they're shooting.
It's about an hour and 20-minute drive, if I'm...
hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think perhaps enough explanation in detail had gone into the fact that everybody was going to be leaving within 2 days. So I think probably there was a slight issue with 1 or 2 people being delayed at the airport, which I'm hoping that we've certainly, from our point of view, tried to get more staff involved so that the exit from the shoot is as smooth as the entry.
Excellent. So I'm trying to remember, the last one was 350 or so entrants, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we had 480 entries.
There we go.
We had 480 entries. We capped it at 500, and I think there were 20 no-shows. This time we're looking for 550. We were capping at 550, and it becomes a waiting list. So I think that'll go pretty quickly. And, from my point of view, it'll be one of the shoots not to be missed next year. I think.
Absolutely.
I think that with the money involved, and, you look at it and you think the money that the Crown Prince is putting into it, I think they're putting up 100 spot prizes on flash clays alone, which all have to be won. There's 100 flash clays going to be shot during the competition, all of which are $500. So if you look at that, roughly 20% of the entry will get their money back on their entry fee by shooting the flash clay. They won't stop the flash clays until the 100 is rigged.
Okay. Excellent.
So, if they throw a flash clay and it breaks on the floor,
yeah,
and it isn't shot, that's not coming out of the 100 flash clays. They will go until 100 flash clays have been claimed, and then that will be the end of that.
And folks, one of the things that was really cool is, I left that night after the award ceremony with cash. I mean, they paid out on the spot.
30% reduction.
Absolutely. No, it was a great event, George, and really looking forward to it again this time. So do you have websites and stuff that people need to go to look at this?
Homepage. We're hoping, fingers crossed, and obviously we've had 1 or 2 issues that a lot of people know about that I'm not going to talk about. So the homepage will be up and running by the middle of this week.
Okay.
Week coming. So if not, but certainly by the end of the week, the homepage will go on. It will explain everything, and then the website becomes live 5 to 7 days after the homepage has gone.
Okay.
So as soon as it will have a countdown to the website becoming live. Once the website becomes live, then you book on, pay your money, and you'll get a number, and that number guarantees you your entry, guarantees you to be able to sort out the hotel and everything like that. But then your bib number will be issued nearer the time, because we obviously need to know how many entries we've got, and there will be an afternoon and a morning rotation. So we then need to split that according to people's choice. So the earlier you get on there, the earlier you get on and register, the better chance you've got of securing an entry. And then when you register, you also need to secure whether you want to shoot morning or afternoon on the first day, which then rotates. And if you want to shoot morning or afternoon, the earlier you register, the better chance you've got of getting the registration that you want.
And it's random squatting?
Be random squatting. But I also think that there's a facility, if people are travelling together, they can, and we will accommodate people that are travelling together, should they not use hotel transport and they're travelling in a car together, we will obviously, as much as we possibly can, accommodate people shooting together.
Or at least at the same time.
Vehicles can be utilised and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they just both sign up for the morning of the first day, then they're at least going to be going and coming more or less same time. Yeah.
But in fact, I'm not actually sure it is random squatting. I think we discussed that issue, and squadding will be done. But I think if people wanted to shoot together, because obviously the transport issue and everything else, I think for me, if you want to shoot with your friend, you've gone all that way over there to shoot. If you want to shoot with a mate, then I think we wanted to accommodate that. Also, for these big international competitions, and I've been doing them 40 years now, just as same as you've been doing them a long time. You get to meet so many new people by shooting in a random squad.
Absolutely.
A lot of those people have become friends for life. So I see both sides of it, but we just want the experience to be so fulfilling for not only the shoot organisers, but for the Crown Prince and Fujairah itself. They're donating a massive amount of money with the infrastructure that goes into it, and they only want to satisfy the shooter's wish to be in a beautiful part of the world, in a lovely country, and enjoying themselves. And they just want people to enjoy themselves. So if that comes for shooting with a mate in the squad, then so be it.
Okay, cool. So I guess that's all done through the website, and when you do registration,
it'll all be done through the homepage.
Okay, all right. And again, dates are February
1 through 8.
February 1 through 8 of next year. Folks, if you don't go to the shoot, don't whine about going to tournaments where you don't have awesome payouts, because there is going to be a lot of cash available at this shoot. George, we're really looking forward to it. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so. We're looking forward to it, as I know that we've set the targets already, so I know what's coming, and I know that Owen Jones is going over there literally just after Christmas. I think he flies Boxing Day, so he'll be there a month setting that with his little team. Before we get there, I'm finishing the game season early here to fly over, and I know Phil's going over mid-January, so the team's going to be in place really early to make sure everything is buttoned on and right. And I think anybody that takes the time will not only experience a vibrant culture and fantastic country, that side from the shooting. Look, we all shoot all over the world, and sometimes you're going through the motions to go to a clay shoot for the sake of going to a clay shoot. This is going to experience some different culture and an environment that is beautiful and willingly hoping to show you their final beauty.
Yep. I tell you, since I started this game about 30 years ago, 19 different countries now, I have never, ever shot any kind of terrain that even came close to the ground we shot in Fujairah last time. So I'm really looking forward to that. There is nothing like standing there going, oh, God, how in the world did they get a target to do that? Yeah. How do you sort this out when the machine's 150 feet above your head up on the side of a mountain coming down at you?
Well, one of the main targets there, which you'll remember on layout 8, was a long crosser.
Yeah.
There was a long crosser that came down through a valley, and we put a rangefinder on it, and it flew 320 yards before it was shot.
Yeah, I took a picture of that. I've still got it on my phone. I say, this is what it was like in Fujairah, and then I start blowing up the picture, and you can see a little speck. It's the trap way up the mountain, and it just sailed down through that valley, and it sailed and it sailed, and it got right about to where you wanted to shoot it, and it kind of peeled off because it was showing you belly, and it was an amazing target.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, we got a few of those.
Good.
We got a little different thing down by the lake as well, but you can see that when you enter.
Yeah. Well, I will be there. Everybody really looking forward to the shoot. As I said, if you're the kind of person that has always said, gosh, I just wish that the sport would grow to the point where we could shoot for some real money, this is the place to go. If you don't go to this shoot, you're truly going to miss out. We'll put more information about the payouts out when we publish this podcast. And then George is going to get me also the website. We'll put that on there. So everybody looking forward to it. George, thanks for coming on. This was pretty painless. Like to do this again with you sometime if you'd like. We'll come up with some good things to talk about. Okay.
Anytime you want to talk about stuff on that.
And one thing we almost forgot about, Guy, you've been really active. Your clay shooting coaching online that you've kind of put together with Anthony and his team. That's going strong.
I wouldn't have done it unless I've done it with Anthony. Mm-hmm. I've got the utmost respect for the guy. He is
working man.
A hard work. The whole family are.
Yeah.
Whole family are. And I've got the utmost respect for him. I've seen a lot of people. I've said he stayed there. He's a disciple of the sport. He's learned from the best, as you have. Dan Carlisle, to me, is one of the legends of the sport.
Absolutely.
I mean, most respect for that guy. And in history, he will go down as one of the greats. Legend is a word that's used far, far too often in sport. Mm-hmm. He is a true legend.
Absolutely.
And you've been taught by him. Anthony's been taught by him. Anthony's taken that through. Not only is a very, very good shot to a world level, he gets his instruction across well. I went over for a week. Chris Claxton is great at filming and understands what needs to be done and what goes on with it. And for me, it was an amazing week. Hard work, but you only get out what you put in. They had a film crew come up from Los Angeles and camped out up at Anthony's for a week. 8 or 9 people camped there for a week with cinematography stuff that I've never seen before.
Sure. It's very professionally done.
It actually got quite emotional at one stage because Anthony obviously knows me and knows within the sport what questions hadn't been asked before. And he got right into me, asking me some, very good questions. And he got to the point where he was talking about, so how would you sort of see your legacy? And we were talking about that sort of thing. And I started sort of, I bought right into that. And I was talking with him. And as I was sort of going through it, I was thinking, well, I'm talking like I'm finished. And at that point, I thought, well, I'm not finished. But it was almost, quite emotional to be looking back on your career as though it's ended. He was very clever in the interviews we've done and the round tables that we've done have documented what I've done over the years, which no one has done before. And I think that the filming that we did at night, especially with the laser,
that was cool.
Everybody that was involved in it, from Chris, Anthony, even Pablo, that was basically running for us, he did an amazing job as well. But for me, I wanted the general public to have the opportunity, seeing what I do, no stones uncovered. It's something we've documented now that will be there for the rest of my life and long after I've gone. People always talk about how do you do it, why do you do it, what is the secret? Well, there is no secret as long as you're transparent with everybody, and that video for me gives 100% transparency. Nothing has been left to chance. Everything I know is on that video. I can't say any more than what's on it because what is on it is everything. We spent 4 days doing that. And I know that there'll still be skeptics and jealous people that'll say this and they'll say everything else.
They don't have to watch it then.
Absolutely. And for me, you could give that to the most successful guy in the United States, or I could give it to somebody that sweeps roads in the UK, and the quality is still the same for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best quality that anybody could, the cinematography and the way it's captured and the detail behind it is second bar none, and which is what I wanted to do with Anthony and Chris. And I'm very happy with how it's gone. I'm very happy that the feedback that's come back is amazing. And, for me, just chuffed that there's something out there now that is a true video representation of me and how I tick.
Yep. It came off very, very, very well. It's super professionally produced. And like you said, having Anthony there to hit you with the right questions from a perspective of a double world champion also. And, somebody who's really been in the sport and as you said, a real disciple or a student of the game, as I was calling, that just, brought it out of you even better, I think.
Yeah, well, what got me and what amazed me was in the World English, Anthony said, we'll have a meet and greet and I'll get some posters done and you do a meet and greet in the bandstand outside the clubhouse at M&M and we'll advertise it from 4 till 5 and sign a few pictures, just get a bit of interest with regards to it and we'll see where it's at. Absolutely no problem. So I get there at 10 to 4 and there's a queue. And I think, hang on a minute. For me, anyway, I walk in and sit down and we get this big pile of posters and a couple of pens and I was still there signing stuff at 25 past 6.
There you go.
They stopped it. So from 10 to 4 until 25 past 6, there was a queue of people. Yeah. Now that to me says something about, the level of interest, not just from the UK and Europe, but also from within the States and within the shooting community. I want to give something back. It's given me a great life. How much longer I'll continue, I don't know, but I'm still enjoying my shooting. I've got friends all over the world, which I really enjoy seeing, and I want to continue doing that. Now, if I can give something, those noises aren't coming from me, they're coming from my Labrador.
Labradors are approved.
Yeah, well, it's a fat Labrador and it snorts a lot, a bit like me. Anyway, 9 people from Los Angeles for a week was not cheap, believe me. So we have to recuperate. As much as anything, I want people to have that ability to download a legacy and download how I tick so that at the end of the day, it's there forever now, where it wasn't before. There's been a couple of DVDs and a book, but it's not really been documented, whereas now you've got a pictorial and vocal definition of me, really.
Yep.
Which is great.
And that website that they can access that is?
playtargetinstruction.com.
That's what I thought. Excellent. George, just listening to you in this last little bit, I just want to bring one more thing up. You talking about your legacy and giving back to the sport, and I'm thinking about things I've experienced that been at events with you and stuff. One of the things you're reminding me of right now, you're doing a job like Mike Brunton used to do, putting on an amazing event at amazing venues around the world, putting together shoot along with a notable person who's providing the purse money for us, helping shooters from all over the world get to the same place like we did in the Triple Classic when we went around the world and shot all 3 venues and that kind of thing. And that can be a big part of your legacy too, buddy.
I'm not a big-headed person. I don't do anything for personal gain. I've got to a point now where I've shot for just over 60. I've shot for nigh on 50 years. 48 years probably. And I've been competitive in that for 40 years. Probably just over 40 years. for me, I would never have been, as a butcher from Hastings, I would never have been able to go to Australia, to New Zealand, to win world championships. I would never have been able to come to the States as many times as I do, to go to Russia, to go to South Africa, to travel to pretty much every continent and shoot. And shooting as a hobby, stroke business, has given me that opportunity. And yes, I've been successful, and I'm very grateful for myself that I've been successful, because the more successful you become, the more doors it opens. But not everybody can be in the position that I'm in. But I'm trying my hardest now, in the older you get, to make things how I would like them to be. And this is one of the reasons that I've had a real issue with the fact that Fujairah hasn't been able to come on the news scene as early as it has, is because we've had a few technical issues, shall we say. And all I'm trying to do is further the sport.
Sure.
All we're trying to do is further the sport. You're doing these podcasts now. You've got a shooting school. Admittedly, some of it is for business, but also you're trying to give back to the shooting community. People don't watch these things just for the sake of watching them. They look at these podcasts and videos and instructional stuff and talk to people because they're looking to glean information to become better at their chosen hobby.
Absolutely.
It's not a cheap hobby. It comes at a price. It's expensive, and all the time there's 2 wars going on in the world, it's going to become more expensive because components are, in short supply. We all know the vagaries of how expensive this sport is. And what you don't want is, you don't want a role model like a Tiger Woods, like a Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, a Rory McIlroy, whoever they are, a Lionel Messi, just putting their head in the sand and hoping that everybody else is going to follow. Because you have to make a stand sometime, and you have to give something back. If you've achieved and you've got some form of standing within your chosen sport, you've got to give something back. Kate and I do a huge amount for charity, which is, we don't tell anybody about. You don't do anything like that, but I'm in the position to be able to do that. And that's part of what we do. You've got to give something back somewhere. And if you don't, the sport is not furthered, because the heroes that people are looking up to, I'm not by any means classing myself as one of those, are not the characters that people want to aspire to.
Absolutely. And I think you're making the hero list, George. That's why people were stood in line for 2.5 hours to get you to sign a poster.
Well, yeah, and it was lovely. And I really appreciated the people doing that. And I had a great 2.5 hours, because I met another 150 people that I wouldn't have met. I might have put my hand up to them as I was driving past in a golf cart, but I wouldn't have had that opportunity to have met them in the position that I did meet them.
One of my junior students who was at that shoot, you made his year. I mean, he was so excited to go in that line and come up and get you to sign stuff. He's still face lights up like a Christmas tree when I ask him about it. So,
that's the beauty of it.
All right, buddy. Well, this has been great. I guess the next time I'll see you will be in Fujairah, unless you come over anytime this fall.
Yeah, no, I haven't got any plans. We're just about to start on our game shooting, and everything looks good, and hopefully we can have a decent year.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you will, buddy. Looking forward to seeing you in Fujairah, and anything else comes up that you want to make any announcements or something, just shoot me an email. We'll get you back on the podcast.
Yeah, no problem. And if you need me, if you want to talk through anything else, just...
I'll call Kate. Right. I'll call Kate. All right, buddy. Well, thank you much for everything. Look forward to seeing you in Fujairah.
Take care. Thanks.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. Remember to subscribe on YouTube and Spotify to the Clay Lab. That way you never miss an episode. We'll catch you here next time on the Fennell Podcast.